Gemma from ASD Rocks. Well. So I'm just on the way back from taking Bo to his sports physiology, and I picked him up from school, and I was like, hey buddy, so what happened today? And he was like, well, actually three things happened. I was like, okay, cool, what? And he said, well, one of the things I already knew, which was that the principal is resigning, but apparently she got a medal from the Queen today, which is super amazing. We're not 100% sure why or what it's about. I'm assuming it's to do with service in public education, and this woman deserves a medal, I would just like to say. And I was like, oh, that's amazing. We talked a little bit about the medal, and I was like, oh, and what else happened? He's like, well, and this kid was up on the roof, and I thought he was trying to be entertaining, but it turns out that he was trying to commit suicide. So I was like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, what? So it turns out that during Bo's psychology class, a kid from the school got up onto the roof of the school, because when I turned up there were actually police cars there, but you never necessarily draw that line of association. It could have been from one of the houses across. I didn't really think about it, but now it makes sense. So apparently the classroom that Bo was in was directly opposite the roof that the kid was wanting to jump off, and it was Bo's teacher that saw it, and their class that saw it, that had to call the office to let them know what was happening. So I'm not 100% sure what sort of took place from there, but there was an announcement apparently at school about well-being. But what did happen after that was that I spoke, Bo and I had a bit of a chat about, how bad things have to be to get to that stage, because I said to him, well, if you had really bad problems, to get to a point where you think that your problems cannot be solved by anything but ending your life, things have to be pretty bad. So if things are feeling bad, or if you're not feeling great, who do you go to? And he said, to your parents. And I said, yeah. And I said, well, what if the parents are part of the problem? And he was like, oh. And I said, okay. We don't know what happened. We can't assume what happened. We don't know if this is a social issue, if this is a domestic issue, if this is a pressure of simply a matter of pressure of school results. We don't know. I don't know anything about the child, what age group they're in, or anything like that. But Bo mentioned that his psychology teacher, because they were in class, he went and spoke to her about, it's just really cold. He went and spoke to her about what had happened. And I asked, and I said, what did she tell you? And he said, she told me that, the truth about what was happening. And I actually wrote an email to her, because I'm really thankful to her that she didn't try to gloss over it. She didn't try to lighten it. She did exactly the right thing. She told him the truth, and she told him what had happened, and then I was able to take over from there and sort out, if he needed to speak about it, or how he was feeling about it, or any of those sorts of things. Because it would have come out in the wash anyway. I'm sure there's going to be a great big huge hoo-ha about this. There always is when a kid does something like this. A child committed suicide at my school in the bathrooms when I was a kid. Yep, absolutely. Hung himself in the bathrooms. And, you know, it's so important to have this conversation and use these opportunities, these horrific opportunities. Because double rainbow. When they're there, that is the time to seize the opportunity to talk about something that is completely weird to bring up at any other time. So, Bo and I have had a chat about, you know, if there are problems at school, you can talk to your parents. And if there are problems with your parents, you can talk to school. There are people who will help you, that will get you the help that you need. And it's the same thing as what I was talking about with Finn when I was talking about going to court. It all seems to be tying in very nicely, actually. The law is there to protect our children. We as parents are restricted in our actions according to the law. And we have bullying things in place in workplaces, we have bullying things in place at schools, we have bullying things or domestic violence in place at homes. And it is children who do not have anywhere or anyone to reach out to, or feel that they do not have anywhere or anyone to reach out to. So one of the things, obviously, Bo feels very, very comfortable. I'm assuming you feel very, very comfortable talking to me about anything. Yeah. You don't ever feel like school is so, like you're under so much pressure to get the right scores or the best anything. We don't make you feel like you know, if you don't do well that you're going to be in trouble. Is that a yes or a no?
No, I don't. Not really.
You don't feel that way? But if you are having trouble at home, who would you go and speak to?
Probably you.
If you were having trouble, yes, of course you would. If you couldn't speak to your parents,
I would probably speak to the school well-being.
School well-being, the school teachers, even the school principal would be there for you. What if you felt you couldn't speak to your school because it was a problem to do with someone at school, and you couldn't speak to your parents? What would you do then if you couldn't go to school?
I have no idea.
Yeah, okay. You know what I would do if I were you?
What?
I'd call the police. And I would say, you know, this is who I am. My name is Gemma, and I feel suicidal, or I need help. I need mental help. So even if you don't know the phone numbers for child outreach, for example, or you're not aware or familiar with all of these amazing programs that exist, most of our kids do not know about the Youth Suicide Hotline. They don't know about the Beyond Blue hotlines, the numbers that they can call, the kids helpline. They don't know these numbers, and if you don't know them, they don't know they exist, they don't know to Google them even. So I think it's a really good time, and, you know, use this as an example for your kids and say, you know what happened to one of the kids at ASD Rocks, you know, and take this time to say, what would you do? Find out from your kid, what would you do? Find out how much they know, and make sure that they have someone to call. You could also call your grandparents, believe it or not. Yeah, you could, if you had real troubles. All right. So yeah, I'm just, guys, use this opportunity to not let our kids not know about what's available to them. Use this opportunity to say, hey, this happened at with ASD Rocks today, and I just want to talk to you. Check in with them. How you doing at school? How you feeling? Do you feel like you can talk to me? Do you want to talk to someone else? Who do you feel comfortable talking to? Would you like to talk to Gemma? Gemma's going to be there. I'll be there. I'll put my hand up and say if your kids are feeling like they can't talk to you about something, I'll be there. I'll do whatever. We'll do FaceTime, Zooms. I'm talking all over the world, all over the country. I don't care. If it's a kid who's in distress, they don't feel like, and even if it's not, even if it's just silly things like puberty, and I say silly things because they don't feel comfortable coming to their parents, I'll do that talk. I will do that talk. There's just no reason that a kid should be feeling like they have nowhere to go. And if ASD Rocks is anything, it's always been somewhere for the parents and the carers to go. Well, let your kids come here too, okay? ASD Rocks, guys. Go love your kids.